Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name's Ethan Bernard, and I apologize in advance for the rest of this video. My voice is not in the normal tone I would usually take, where I would go, ladies and I can't right now, guys. My voice is really just gone after these last few days of playing Anthem, and I apologize. I will be back to the normal voice that I usually have soon. But for now, we're going to kind of lay it low and just use my kind of normal inside voice for once. Even though I know you guys are used to kind of hearing the, hi, how are ya? Kind of high-tone YouTuber voice that most people usually do, but I just cannot pull that off right now. Now, yes, you read the title of this video correctly, guys. It's finally here. The Anthem Interceptor movement guide you guys have all been asking for. Now, before we get into this, I'd like to point out a few things. First off, I've spent over 40 hours as Interceptor alone and over 60 hours total on the demo as a whole. And what I'm about to show you is what I believe to be the most effective and efficient movement out there in the game. And as always, before we hop into it, just remember, guys, that practice makes perfect. Okay, so if you can't grasp all this right away, don't worry about it. Anthem hasn't even come out yet. And if you're seeing this after Anthem comes out, well, hey, practice makes perfect, and you have all the time in the world to practice, because I don't think Anthem's going to go anywhere anytime soon, guys. Anyway, starting off, let's hop right into the basics of the Interceptor's movement. If you have a grasp on all the basic movement, feel free to head into the intermediate or advanced section of this video. I will have timestamps for all three sections in the description down below. Starting off with the basics, we have jumping, dashing, flying, and hovering, the four basic movement of a javelin. Now, starting off with jumping, you can actually do triple jump. You can do 1, 2, or 3 jumps, and you can change directions with these jumps if you want to, and you can combo these jumps into a lot of different things. Now, this is a legitimately good strategy to do in combat. If you're firing midair, you can continue firing while you jump, and just kind of jumping around like this will make it almost impossible for the enemies to hit you, and will also give you a chance to chain a jump into either flying or a dash or something if you need to get from point A to point B mid-combat. Now, speaking of dashing, you can also dash 3 times, or dodge. I'm not sure what the term is for it. You can dodge 1 to 3 times, but to do this, you must hold down the dodge button and a directional button simultaneously, and you can chain up to 3 dodges at a time. This is very useful when training in either flight or while jumping or anything, and it can also be performed while hovering. When Interceptor's flying is concerned, nothing's really that fancy, okay? Interceptor can fly, and she burns out pretty quickly. You can perform kind of a barrel roll dodge sideways, which moves farther than the other Javelin's air dodges, but honestly, I don't usually ever worry about this unless I want style points. You can also increase the time in air by jumping out of the flight and doing kind of a combo. You can either do a triple dodge, or you can jump out of flight and do a triple dodge, double jump, triple dodge combo. You can do a lot of stuff to keep yourself in the air and stay moving a lot longer than you would by just holding down the flight button. Now, here's an interesting thing. When Interceptor's hovering is concerned, you can dodge while hovering, you can shoot, all that fancy stuff. But here's the thing. No Interceptor main should ever need to use hover on a consistent basis, especially with the movesets that I'm about to show you. Hovering for the Interceptor Javelin is nothing but a handicap in my opinion, and so far I really can't think of a situation off the top of my head where hovering would actually prove useful as an Interceptor main unless I need to stay in a place for a period of time where there's actually no ground under me, in which case I'd probably just jump in place, do a few jumps, do a few dashes, and fly, since you can do all that while staying on the move and not sitting there like a big sitting duck. Moving on to the intermediate movesets of the Interceptor Javelin, we are going to start off with what I think is pretty much a basic combo that everyone should know by now. With the Interceptor Javelin, you can do a triple dash, a triple jump, and follow it up with an additional triple dash midair. This is kind of the basic, hey, you can do all this at once, look at me kind of combo that I'm sure pretty much everyone has figured out by now. However, I've improved this with what I think is pretty much just a better version of it. If you do a single jump, do a triple dash midair, follow up the triple dash with 2 additional jumps, and then either land on the ground and repeat that process, or finish off with another triple dash at the end, you can move a lot farther, and you actually gain some verticality in there, because, come on, face it, we're not always going to be fighting on even ground, guys. There's a lot of hills and a lot of unevenness in the arenas in Anthem. Verticality is a part of the game for a reason, so use it. So once again, to reiterate that, you jump once, do a triple dash, do an additional double jump mid-air, and then finish off with either a triple dash or hitting the ground and repeating the first 3 steps over again. This makes you go further and allows you to stagger your movement in combat in case you need additional dashes or jumps on the spot for some of that quick thinking and decision making. Now, as always, you can add melee or flying into the mix either at the end or beginning of these combos. So if you wanted to fly around in the air after jumping off the ground, you can cancel your flight, do a triple dash, do a double jump, do another triple dash, and then go back into flight for kind of the max movement in air, and it'll travel you the farthest distance without actually overheating your thrusters at all. On the other side of that, you can actually jump up, do the triple dash, do 2 more jumps, do another triple dash, and then fly. This allows you to cover a lot of distance on the ground before you even start flying, and it's pretty much the same thing I just said, except for you do it at the beginning instead of mid-flight. Another cool thing to note about this combo is that when you're doing this combo, where you're jumping and dashing and melee and all that, you can actually use this while you're holding objectives or while your interceptor is overheated. This does not affect your flight or your overheating in any way, so if you're trying to find a good way to move around while either you're overheated, you're doing an objective, or you just don't feel like flying, this is absolutely a brilliant way to do it. One last thing to add about all these combos and all of Interceptor's movement as a whole, any of it can be done in any direction. You can do this combo backwards, you can do this combo sideways, you can do it however you'd like, and I find myself using it backwards to kind of get away from enemies while still having the camera centered on them, and even sideways from time to time where I need to position myself in a specific place at a specific time in combat. All this is very useful, and it only gets better from here. Now, here we are at the advanced section of this video. These are the tactics that will set you apart as an Interceptor main, and I am so excited to kind of share these guys with you. Now, given some of you probably know some of this stuff, good for you. I'm really excited to see what you guys all do with this, especially when you combine all the information together that I'm about to give you. It will make you a top-tier Interceptor player if you take the time to master this movement. Starting off in the advanced section, if you hold A or D while holding down W to go forward on PC, this will give you additional gained momentum during the second and third jump in triple jump. Now, I'm not sure how this works on console since you do have to hold forward and sideways at the same time, so maybe holding your left stick at a diagonal position might work, but I never really got the chance to test this out because I didn't have enough time this weekend. Now, one thing to note about this movement is that this method does not work with sprinting, it does not work on the first jump of the triple jump, and it does not work with dodging. So if you do the combo we discussed where you jump, do a triple dash, do 2 additional jumps, and then do another triple dash, the only way this will benefit you is if you do it during the second and third jump in between the dashes. So what I recommend doing is doing the first jump into the air followed up by the triple dash, then start to hold down either A or D or do whatever you want with the joystick. Do your second and third jump, release the side button, and then go about your last 3 dashes momentarily. This will allow you to kind of not have the camera offset longer than it needs to be and take advantage of all the gain momentum you can get. Personally, needing to compensate with the camera to move where I want to be, at least if I'm planning on going in a straight line, I don't use this at all unless I'm doing a sideways combo. So if I did the combo I mentioned previously sideways, I'll always use this for gain momentum. But when I need to move forward from point A to point B, if point B is in front of me, I don't usually mess with this because it does mess up the camera quite a bit. And now we come to what I think is the most pivotal part of mastering Interceptor's movement as a whole. And of course, I'm talking about mastering the art of the downward melee. The downward melee is a very versatile tool in the Interceptor's moveset, and I cannot wait to show you guys what this is capable of. The downward melee in Anthem can be cancelled mid-air to bring movement to an entirely different level. You can cancel this downward spinning attack with either a jump or a dodge, and if you stagger your movement correctly, you can predict angles and delay movements, staggering everything to land the perfect killing blow and get yourself in the right position for anything in combat. Interestingly enough, this can be done with all 3 jumps on the triple jump. So you can do a jumping melee, jumping melee, jumping melee, all without actually touching the ground. However, I don't really know what that's going to get you. I usually use this to stagger movement, so while I'm in combat, if I want to melee someone and I'm on my way down and I change my mind at last second, you can either jump or dodge out of it and then land yourself in a position where you can get the perfect melee on the next person and not have to worry about losing your momentum at all. So finally, we're going to combine all of this together. If you do a jump, a triple dash, you do a jumping melee, and then another triple dash, and you can end it by either meleeing or flying. This is a very good combo that gets you from point A to point B very quickly. Now, of course, you could add in the sideways method where you hold A or D along with W or move your joystick diagonally if you'd like for those jumping melees, but it makes it a lot more complicated considering you actually have to jump and melee at the same time, and you're not just jumping sideways this time. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, you can also kind of combine this in a momentum thing. So if you cancel out the triple dash at the end, and you do jump, triple dash, jumping melee, and hit the ground, you can jump up again and do it all over again without any issue, because if you triple dash at the end, and then try to jump up on the ground afterwards, your dodge isn't going to be ready yet, guys, and you won't be able to chain that movement together. Now, obviously, you can do the whole combo where you jump, triple dash, jumping melee, triple dash, and then at the end of that, you can either do a melee to get to the ground, or you can just continue flying. As well as the original combo, you can fly into this, you can fly out of this, and you can do it in any direction. Combining all this knowledge and taking the time to master this movement will make you a top-tier Interceptor player. And don't worry, guys, I am nowhere near what I plan on being after I master the movement in this game. In the background, some of this video and what I'm talking right now, you should be seeing some gameplay of all this in motion. You can kind of see what it gives you the potential to be. Once you master, or at least learn, Interceptor's movement, you can be a killing machine, and you can do it very fluently and efficiently, and you won't mess up a lot once you get kind of some of the timing down. What I absolutely love doing is doing the downward melee, staggering my movement, and making sure I'm in the perfect position to land the perfect melee attack on a specific enemy or group of enemies. Combining all this stuff together is insane, and that's what I believe makes someone a top-tier Interceptor player, is when they can truly take advantage of what the potential of the Interceptor Javelin is. Anyway, guys, if you guys enjoyed the video, let me know down in the comments below. Remember, we haven't even played Anthem yet as a whole. We played the Anthem demo. I have about 40 hours into Interceptor at this point, and about a month after the game's release, I plan on being at an entirely different level with the movement, above even what I'm at right now, assuming I have the ability to improve. But who am I kidding? We always have the ability to improve, even if we don't think we do. Anyway, guys, don't stop improving your movement. If you have any guides you'd like me to make, let me know down in the comments below. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. It's free and it helps me out a lot. The goal is 2,000 by the end of February. We've seen absolutely insane growth the last week, and I can't wait to see what kind of numbers we can hit by the end of this year. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Hey naysayers, how y'all been? It's been a minute, but I'm in it to win, and I ain't finished. This is the starting gun, and I'ma run it to the front until I'm #1, son. This is a rhythmic defibrillation, innovative, old school to thrill the nation. I've been patiently waiting and building steam, but I'm back.